Lequita Brooks here. I am your social impact speaker and strategist. Welcome to Social Impact Sundays at 6, where we have massive social impact that leads to massive income. And today we have Jessica Jefferson. She is a wellness social worker, trainer, and advocate for communities, corporations, just changing the whole narrative on what wellness looks like, maintaining employee engagement, wellness, making our communities better, all the things. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Yes. So tell me we're going to start at the beginning now. What inspired your movement now for wellness? Because I know we were talking earlier and you mentioned you have this really key phrase that you're using now, which is a pillar for your own personal life and also how you're deciding to operate in your business and with the corporations and the communities that you serve and support.
So this year I entered the year and it felt like this very dark and dismal place. And I was like, Lord, what are we going to do? And in my own journey of healing through therapy, through doing my own work, through really making sure that I show up wholly as a person, we decided we stand it on business and boundaries. It just is what it is in 2024. 2023, 2022, 21 through 2018 was on my neck. And after doing all of the things, hitting a quarter mil, having a staff of 11 people, I was like, ugh, get somebody else to do it. So in 2024, we are staying alive, we're staying well, we're staying sane, and we are staying saved. And that looks like having to really identify where our greatest impact is. And we are the people's people. We are COMMUNITY. We're community all day long around here. And so I realized a lot of the folks that were coming into my room for individual therapy were experiencing the same things. They got these jobs they loved. It all made sense. Then they had this invisible moral injury at work. We call it PTSD, trauma, whatever you want to call it. But they were like, yo, we are standing 10 toes down, chest out, chin up in our purpose lane, doing what God has called us to do. And I was like, we here for it, let's go. And I realized, like, okay, well, I'm doing this for you in this setting. How can I help our overall community? How do I help your employer keep you? How do I help your employer like create this culture that what you bought into still makes sense, right? Because I believe employment is a reciprocal relationship, right? You have this money that I want, I've got this skill that you need. And we enter this mutually. Like, we're like, this is a good idea. And somewhere along the lines, our values just no longer line up. And so we've been helping people figure out it's cheaper to keep them. If we can help somebody feel like they are valued, heard, respected, seen, and belong in their place of employment, they're more likely to stay there. And if we protect those return profits, our families are together. So that means my lady that takes my order at Starbucks, when she feels like Starbucks loves her, is going to be kind and polite. And my staff, when I check on them, can also be kind and polite. We always just make the world a better place. So that's where we're at now, really figuring out how to make a bigger impact.
I love that. Like you said, a lot of very key things. One thing you said, you are a therapist who actually has a therapist. So
Oh,
you
yes,
take
ma'am.
that time to reflect and tap in so you can be aware of what's going on within you. You
Oh,
also
yes.
discuss being like a powerhouse, like you have a whole group therapy practice with at least 10 other clinicians that you're managing. So not only are you still managing your own personal life, your own personal family, you also have the group practice and also clients that you also see, that can be a lot. So I really love how you said, you take that time for that inner work to really get clarity around those things. And also you lean on your spirituality for that too.
Indeed. We actually scaled back. We had 11 clinicians at the height of the pandemic. We are at two. And we are two that work very well, who understand the mission, who show up, who believe in the work, and it's part of who they are. And so when I started, it was like this whole thing like scale, 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 scale. And I scaled and I hated it. I realized I don't want to manage nobody, especially not no other therapist, girl. It is ghetto out here. We think private practice is like some rules, carte blanche to do what we want. And I was like, oh no, ma'am, no, sir. And so the sweet spot for me was I enjoy being in the room. I enjoy practicing, utilizing my skill set and showing up. And I also like what it feels like to be on the other side of the couch when you're like, ooh, who is she? Did she just read me the filth and I'm paying this? And I'm like, actually, tell me more about this inner child work. And so I feel like it keeps therapists so relevant and human and real when we sit down and we do our own work, when we identify like, oh, this is what that aha moment feels like physiologically and psychologically. Because then when we remain safe in that way, we can show up for clients in a way that I believe is unmatched and the most top tier possible in our full humanity.
Yes, and it sounds like you're saying quality over quantity.
Indeed. 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 Because the year I made the most money, I was physically the most ill. Like I don't fear failing. I fear succeeding because that means the next time I gotta beat it. I'm a very like we going, like we all in. It's very much like, yeah, girl. And I'm just like, bah, 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 bah. And so every time I succeeded, I had to match that plus some for the next one. And so success had me in a chokehold of what led me to what I dubbed my burnout personality type. Where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna go harder. And I realized the only cruel taskmaster in my story is me. Girl, I was the problem. I was like, yeah, girl, we got to do this because nobody cared about my P&L statement. Nobody cared about all the things that was driving me. And social media was like, we gonna get the bag. And I was like, after ending up on several hospital beds, on several surgeries, I was like, you know what? The Lord was like, so sis, look around. All this stuff is single occupancy. Every funeral I've been to was only one person in a casket. Even people died in an accident together. It's one casket per funeral. It's one surgery table per bed. It's one hospital chart. And I was like, I'm going to have to figure out how to stop killing myself with my own narratives. Because our narratives are dangerous. And so I had to start filtering in what made the most sense. And that looks like being alive, being well in all of my alleys, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, being sane, making rational decisions, not like, okay, well, will they still like me? And now making irrational just makes me feel unwell on the inside. That's insane behavior because people are going to do what you allow them to do. And remaining safe, like remaining with my feet planted in the things that matter to me. So this money doesn't move me. This idea, that shiny object syndrome that we get when we're like, oh, there's this new thing that's popping up and it's outside of alignment with my core values and my goals. It's just, we staying saved right in this lane. We doing this. And if it doesn't align with our values, we're just not coming. And what's for us won't miss us. And I think oftentimes in our fields, we feel like we gotta go to money versus we gotta just show up and pop up and be whoever. Girl, no, be you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I don't care if it's 13 therapists on your block. If God called you to do it, you're gonna be the 13 therapists making money. That's getting their stuff together. Their family is whole. It's not going to cost you nothing. I don't believe anything we're called to do will cannibalize something else. And I had to really be like, okay, that's what it looks like to remain sane and safe. That idea of like, what's for me will not miss me. I will never lack. I'll never go without. It may not always be comfortable because it's ghetto. It's ghetto, ghetto. But he gonna work it out.
And he will. And I feel like I can relate to some of that so much because this year I did decide to also take that purpose-driven journey when it comes to building my business. You know, over the past 4 years, I made great money with a government grant. And it was very rewarding. I support a lot of veterans, but I also knew that 2 years ago, I was given this divine vision to change the global narrative of the social work profession. And every time, I would pick it up, I would put it back down because I'm like, well, I'm not making traction, or I'll pick it up and then put it back down. I don't know what to do. Nobody is hearing me. And finally, last year, when it was that time to say, well, okay, Lequita, are you going to reapply for this grant? Or are you just going to let the grant go and then you're going to actually build a business that's going to be in alignment with that divine vision that was given to you on January 24th, 2022, when you was vacating in Miami, minding your business? And a chill is going through my body as I'm talking about this. And I said, you know what? No, this year, well, really, it was from last year, I made that decision not to renew the grant. And now it's like, okay, Lequita, do these things. Hence why we're here for the social work movement, because this is one of the ways for me to change that global narrative. And it's already happening. So I just want to say I can relate so much to what you said about that.
Come on, Purpose Lane. We here for it. I love it. I feel so honored to be a part of your journey. Like I was sharing with you, I was enamored. I think when I first saw you, it was one of those groups, and you were like, we don't have to be out here broke, sis. Like, it's just not a thing. Like, the government got money and y'all sleep. Like, please, hello, tap, tap, wake up. Like, what are y'all out here doing? And as a spouse of a veteran, thank you for that work. They are one of my populations of choice. I go by the superheroes therapist. I help healers and helpers heal. And my people are those that are running and we're running out. So when it hits the fan, our military is running and we're running out. Our pastors are running and we're running out. Our therapists are running and we're running out. Our first responders, our firefighters, our police officers are running when we're running out. And there's no one there. There's not really a soft spot for them to land because they could be a very crude, sarcastic, but super soft gummy bear population. People are a little off. I'm like, come on, let's be sarcastic. Let's, let's laugh at all of the weird stuff because that's what makes life livable. So I count those that were populations like veterans and people like me to be angels on the earth. We are entertaining angels on where you're doing the Lord's work. And I thank you for what you've done so far. And I'm so excited to continue to watch your journey as you like shake up the fallow ground, as you move something like, it's not you for us. Y'all can do what y'all want, but over here, we serve Jesus in our purpose. And we are moving stuff around. We are changing the narrative. And you're Black. So like when I decided I was gonna be private practice, I didn't know any other Black clinician in private practice. I'm in South Florida. I'm like 10 minutes from Miami. And when I started, everybody was white and old or white and male. And I was like, I cannot relate. And so we made some moves. I started off only doing cash pay. And a lot of the folks that I wanted, I needed to serve, needed to use their insurance. Like it wasn't like, oh, because and I was making good money. And I was like, but I'm telling people that I don't want to work with. Yes. Like and I'm like, your money's not long enough. I don't want to talk to you. And instead of screening them out, I screened my standards out. I'm like, well, because at the end of the day, my P and I could post, clinicians of color, I made X, Y, Z. I saw this X amount of clients. And that was kind of the first spot that I saw was, oh, there's other Black folks doing stuff. And it felt like I was constantly like having to chase that next best thing. And I was like, I don't even like this. This is icky. And so to hear that you're like, hey, I love this thing and I'm good at it, but what I need to be doing right now is different. And I stand on that and I'm doing that. Like I honor you stepping out. I pray that God blesses you like beyond your wildest dreams, that you just get favor, uncommon favor with man that blows your mind because you will change generations, you will change bloodlines, you will change people's outlook on what they can do because of your yes. And I pray that you never, ever look back in doubt, that you stand 10 toes down on what he gave you January 22nd or 24th, 2022. And you do that thing wholeheartedly as loud as you can, say it with your chest, because there's someone that needs what you're doing, that needs to hear. Adult learners can make good money. Black female single moms can do it. Social workers can really, really, really change the narrative that we are out here being the hands and feet of Jesus. You have encouraged me so much through just showing up. And I don't think that you understand the impact that you have on others. And I just want to encourage you, stay the course. Don't look to your left, don't stay the course. Keep your eyes on Jesus and he will do what he needs to do. Your money won't be funny, he won't lack. If there's things that are concerning that are not showing up, that he will make those things whole in new ways you will never, ever imagine. I'm so excited to be here. You're so amazing. Your vibe is everything.
I am sticking to my yes. Whew, yes, I'm sticking to my yes. And as we were talking earlier, you talked about sticking to your nose. So tell us more about that.
So a no is a no is a no is a no is a no. In 2019, I read Liza Turkhurst, The Best Yes. And that book, I think, single-handedly changed my life. In that, for so long, I felt like every opportunity, every room was a good room to be in, that I just needed to do what I needed to do. And she was like, you give your first yes to God, you give your next yes to your family, and anything that is a maybe is a no. You can always come back and change your mind. You can always say, I was just kidding. But once you say yes, stand on your word. And so now it's a whole lot of no, thank you. Not this time, not interested. Nope. And as I was saying to you, this is my first live interview in like 2 years. And before that, I was like rolling them out, doing stuff, speaking, doing all the things. And the Lord had me get real quiet. And I didn't realize that I had gotten real quiet, but I had to get real planted for what he's looking to do in this season. And so no, it's a lot of stuff that we used to do not doing, or we're not doing that same way. And I do consulting work and I absolutely love it. I do a lot of work around health equity and social justice, communal wellness, the things that our community, the diaspora, Black Americans greatly systemically do not have access to are things that I really love. And so I was talking to one of my clients and I was like, hey, this year I plan to take on more clients. I plan to come for organizations and companies and governments because I want to come in and refine that. Like when people are unwell at work, our whole community is unwell. And I want to change that. And so I was like, hey, I'm doing my calendar. I need to know how much time you need so I can block this out because I don't want to tell you no later on. Like you've been here for a while. And I was like, but once you tell me no today, we don't have it, I'm going to move on and the price is going to go up. And so it's not just like no, like no, but also like knowing that whatever God tells me to say no to, that he will prepare before my foot lands, something else will be there, and not thinking about how my no impacts someone else. My therapist taught me something like in December. I was like, bro, I'm 38. Like, I feel like I'm a big woman. Like, I'm married. I don't push the baby. I got a whole mortgage, man, a husband. Like, I got real life bills. So I feel like I'm adult as adult. We got car notes. Like, this is adulting, right? Adulting 101. And so she was like, trust yourself and trust the process. I said, what? She said, trust yourself and trust. Girl, I could have jumped out. I said, we need an intensive for this. And I realized that trusting myself meant that I could not say yes to others who caused me to distrust my gut, to distrust my discernment, to distrust who God has created me fearfully and wonderfully to be. So I had to start saying no. Because peace with myself looked like, if you don't like me, I'm gonna sleep good. If I'm too uppity, if I'm too saved, if Jesus bothers you, that's just, I now know KNOW why my no and O had to stand. And being okay with that and being okay with who I am and whose I am, doing his work in purpose, on purpose, for purpose. I had to realize like the brand has to shift. I said to you earlier, like, this is my first time speaking since I started my business, not wearing black, white, and gold. Like, and the Lord told me last night, he was like, you are the brand. I called you to this work, not to a company, not to a color scheme. I called you to stand down and to stand out. And girl, when I tell you, like I was talking to my girlfriend, I got up this morning like 7. I was like, I'm just driving baby to school in this. I was like, I got to get ready and like sit in this outfit. And that might not mean much to anybody else, but the betting on myself for the first time, like for real, like outwardly, and then saying, I'm not in brand, oh, girl. But if, like you, I'm going to make change, I got to make change his way. I got to let him be the true CEO of my life. I watched something yesterday. This lady sent me, or one of my girlfriends sent me, this lady on TikTok. She went to a meeting with a bunch of millionaires. And she said all the millionaires that was at this meeting had in common was that God was like CEO of their life. Like they met with God behind things else. So God said, wear pink, y'all. Bump my little brand kit, bump my brand voice. I'm going to show up in pink. And when I tell you, like, this outfit popped up yesterday, like I was given this entire outfit within the past 48 hours. Because I was like, okay, Lord, I didn't even own pink like that. And we suited and booted in pink head to toe. And so I think when we give ourselves and God our best yes, the other knows that we have to give out, stay in alignment with that. And if it's met for us, it'll spin a block and come back. And so that's what my KNOW and NO look like in this season.
Mm. And what else would you say is flowing through you in this particular moment to share with our audience?
I would say to every trailblazer, to everyone who's looking to the left or to the right for a blueprint and can't find it, baby, it's you. You're not gonna find it. And so yeah, sister girl has the beaten path for her, and you got the bushes because there's some coming behind you that needs a new path, that needs to know it's okay to not be in your brand colors, to not be in your brand voice, but to stand on business and boundaries and say, you know what, no matter what color I got on, no matter what it is, this name right here hold weight. This, what we doing, hold weight, it pushes weight, it moves weight, and it may be weighty, right? It's not going to be easy. This thing has cost me. You hear me? It has cost me. Every season that we have gone through that was followed by a win cost us a near-death experience, whether it was my daughter being diagnosed with congenital heart failure at 8 months after getting COVID, whether it was my body breaking down and I couldn't walk, but I was still making bands, like whatever that looked like. Don't let the measure of what you see be the measure of your fruit. Walk. There's no path, walk. There's no land, walk. When you put your foot down, it's going to be something there. It don't matter who's doing it, who's not doing it. What is for you will not miss you. And there's some folks out here that are treasure and earthen vessels that have been tried and true, but don't look at nobody else. Because what it cost them to refract the light that had to break them down in their process may kill you in yours. So be okay with forging your own path. Be okay with not having someone to look to and ask questions. The Lord will provide you an executive board for your life. He'll provide folks that, whether they are paid, free, will naturally gravitate towards you and help in your refining process. But be okay being a blueprint. Be okay being the one that's letting God architect and roadmap your life. Don't worry about a shade of pink. Don't worry about the color for the walls, because what's in right now is the little scaffolding and chair railing. Girl, build your house. Get your foundation steady. Lay the floors out. Don't move quick. Like that stuff settle where it's supposed to be. And then when he puts something there that is foundational, I don't care what comes. Don't move. Stand on business and stand on boundaries. And no money is worth sacrificing you being alive. And I don't mean living, I mean being alive. I mean finding joy in things, being content in every season you were in. I mean being well, not well off, but well. Like you lay your head down to sleep and there is peace in your soul. I mean being sane, making decisions that are irrational to others, but are rational for you and where you are. Because we are all as individual as our fingerprints, and being saved. For me, that means Jesus. That means I allow the Lord to keep me. Things that are of value placed in safety deposit boxes, we put behind locked doors. We put dead people that we love in mausoleums and in things to encase them, knowing they're going to fall apart. Nothing concerning you is dead or dying, and the Lord will keep what you have given unto him. Don't let nothing move you. Be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. And lastly, be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap. All of the fakers and those that aren't doing the work, it's going to show up, because fool's gold only shines till it's weathered. And you have weathered every storm, and you will weather every storm to come. Be the blueprint, sis.
Be the blueprint. Listen, Jessica, you have preached. It's about time for offering at this moment. Girl, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on the social work movement today.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you. It has been a blessing to be here. Thank you so, so much.
Well, I am Lequita Brooks, your social impact speaker and strategist here at Social Impact Sundays at 6, where we have massive social impact that leads to income. And make sure you go to thesocialworkmovement.com to get involved. Once again, that is thesocialworkmovement.com to get involved. Until next time, have an amazing day.
Bye, guys.